Hey everyone, welcome back to Hobbies with Jose. I'm Jose Carbajal, and today we have issues 102 and 103 of Eaglemoss's Build the DeLorean. Get ready for some deja vu here. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I was actually debating if I was going to film these next two issues because they are pretty identical to what we did a few weeks ago with issues 100 and 101, but there are a couple of differences, especially with the cables that are connecting here in the back, and I don't want to skip any of the issues, especially from this point forward now that I'm filming them with my channel here. So without further ado, let's get started here. And let me open up this first package. The exact same pieces as before, only of course now in reverse. And once again, we're going to start off with pieces 102A and 102C. Want to get the orientation straight here. Connects just like that, and then onto the vehicle. And we're going to use an IP screw to connect the piece. And then we have piece 102D, which is going to connect into the last hole that we have there. Same as before, I'm going to untwirl the cables here, have them nice and straight when I'm connecting them to the vehicle. That looks pretty good. And I do have my tweezers ready from last time. And just as before, it wants us to use the black cable included, kind of like a simulated zip tie, to put the colored cables into the hard black plastic one. But again, I've still got Mike Lane zip ties, plenty of them to use, so I'm going to use these instead. I am actually going to use this black cable to keep them in place while I put Mike Lane zip ties around. I think that should be helpful. And just like that, we have issue 102 completed. Just as before, I've run the custom zip ties all across the cables here. I did try to manage to have the colored cables pretty much stay in the front of the black one. They kind of had a tendency to either fall down or try to get behind it, so moving them across to the front was a bit of a challenge, but not too hard. Now, the zip ties that I have on here, I'm going to add more, but because there's going to be more colored cables towards the back end of the vehicle, I want to make sure I have enough to spread them out evenly. But without further ado, let's move on to issue number 103. And again, same pieces as before. Nothing different here. A couple of hard black plastic pieces. This mesh that's going to go around the silver tubing and the two rings that are going to go onto it. Some more screws and this black cable that we're only going to use to keep the cables in place while we put our zip ties on. Starting off with the silver tubing number 103B. We're going to put the mesh around the number 103C, just as before. And we're still going to match up the holes as we did last time. Hopefully it won't be too tricky. Does help to bring out the rod a little bit to match up the holes. After that, that looks good. Let's grab our screw. And it's going to take 3 MP screws. And once again, we're going to put parts 103A around the tubing in an orientation that'll keep the screws unseen from the outside. So we'll get these right on here. Just like that. And now we'll tilt the vehicle over to better position this piece onto it. And using 2 km screws, we're going to plug it into these 2 holes along the bottom here. Next, we connect pieces 103E and 103F and then connect them onto the vehicle. Now we take our colored cables that we put in from so many issues ago. We're going to go ahead and untie this and bring this around to the bottom through here. And I'm also going to untwirl these pieces, I think starting from this section here, just so they don't make too much of a mess inside. And we grab our black cable to hold them in place. And put some more zip ties into the piece. Kind of feels like brain surgery, but we're getting there. And now that we've got our zip ties put into place, same as before, we're going to cut the colored cables and we're going to insert them back into that silver tubing there. And there it is. Issues 102 and 103 completed. Very similar to what we did before. And we'll be adding some more zip ties in the future to fill them out. And that's it for today's show, folks. On our next two issues, 104 and 105, I'm going to be adding some of the lighting that's going to go along the back of the vehicle. And I'm excited for that because I've got some more modifications that I'm going to show you. So I hope you stick around for that. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. And any questions you have, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks so much, everyone. See you soon.